Okay. Hey, gentlemen.
What's going on, Dan?
Oh, nothing yet. Let's see. We'll share it there and back to the Vans case study. All right. So, in order to get on with our what's left of our Friday after this darn thing. Okay. So, I guess we're going to go through the case study here. Let's take a run through it as if we were to present it.
Yeah.
Give everybody a chance on their particular slide to step forward. Feel free to just read it off the slide if that is what is comfortable for you. It's the easiest way to go at this point. Okay, so
Yeah, I'm
Vans.
gonna do that right now.
All right, fantastic. So I'll start with the top here, evolution of the category. In the '60s, Vans started as surfing was a niche sport with little attention paid by product manufacturers. Vans stepped into that because they were making shoes that worked well with surfing. They made shoes that worked well for gripping a skateboard. And in the '70s, the skateboarding began to develop as a sport, and the fan base, was in California at that area at that time, and that's where the home for the Vans store started. So you had this group of skateboarders that kind of found Vans. It wasn't the other way around. Vans didn't find the skateboarders found Vans. Vans started out in the '60s just making cheap boat shoes, cheap and durable boat shoes. And it just so happened that the surfing and the skateboarding contingents found their brand to be useful to enable them to continue to do surfing and sport and skateboarding. Vans responded to that. They noticed that this was happening, and they began sponsoring professional skateboarders. They were the first company to do that with a Stacy Peralta fella. And in the 1980s, skateboarding, the sport, actually died for a number of reasons, but Vans becomes immensely popular due to the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High. They had a brief flirtation with that popularity and wound up going into bankruptcy when they extended themselves and didn't pay attention to their core competency. So in 1990, the skate shoe market began picking up again and drawing interest from other shoemakers. So what happened in the '90s was a rapid escalation of this. It really started around 1995. So you start to develop some momentum. At that point, Vans just moved away from the fact that they were doing custom shoes locally in the United States, and they outsourced their offshored their production facilities to the Asian countries, and they started focusing on their alternative sports and extreme sports kind of sub market. So by 1996, they were entering entertainment and events by sponsoring the Warped Tour, which is a concert series. And by 1997, they continued institutionalization of alternative sports with world championships for professional and amateur skateboarders. By 1998, we see the market for alternative sports crystallizing, as Vans describes core sports specifically as skateboarding and surfing. So Vans sees themselves in the seats of driving and essentially dictating what core sports are. By '99, market expands
Right
to
here.
absorb. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Okay. By '99, market expands to absorb wakeboarding and snowboarding. Snowboarding being important because up to this point, wakeboarding, surfing, and skateboarding had all been viewed as kind of Southern in California kind of things. And all of a sudden, we've got snowboarding. So we've got the winter aspect entering into the Vans world. So by 2000, you have the Vans Triple Crown events being displayed on ESPN. Again, there's this institutionalization and the defining of a market that was undefined and emerging is now starting to crystallize. Vans begins designing video games at this point. In 2001, we see more expansions of the alternative sports category with motocross, supercross, and BMX. And by 2001, the entertainment expansion continues to include a movie, a documentary, Dogtown, and Z Boys. So what we have is a brand that started out in the '60s as a cheap, durable deck shoes that allowed for custom ordering and a turnaround on those custom orders in 19 days, locally manufactured. By the 70s, the skateboarders and surfers, and a brand that relies on sun and fun footwear for athletes outside of the mainstream. By 80s, a brush with popularity and a short-lived disastrous entry into the broader athletic shoe market resulted in bankruptcy. So, licking their wounds, Vans goes back to what they know best, which is skateboarding, surfing, and being kind of an outsider. Uh, we see in the mid 80s through the 90s that Vans fall out of favor. They're struggling to sell a backlog of materials and stock. They start entering into retail and mall discount outlets. By the mid 90s and through 2002, what we see is a resurgence of the skateboarding and the skateboarding sport under the umbrella of alternative sports. So Vans sees that. They see that the Asian offshore Asian manufacturing has great capability and flexibility. And so rather than going with custom, they go with offshore manufacturing and institutionalizing around a brand of product. So skateboarding and other fringe sports become Vans' core sports. Vans becomes an entertainment and media company that also makes shoes, a marketing platform for practitioners of extreme sports and an evangelist for the alternative sports lifestyle. B-Rob, value proposition, go.
Yes. So pre-offshore manufacturing, Vans was on quality and affordability. They had customization with a 19-day turnaround on an order to where defines the shoe. Oh, yeah, Vans wanted those who wear the shoes to define the shoes.
Right.
Post-core sports, Vans was style and lifestyle, safety for young customers. The shoe defines the wearer. And I'll brush up on that more.
Right. So the idea with you have the value proposition changes when
Yeah.
they go from local custom, tell us what you want, we'll give it to you, to okay, now we're going to develop a set of products and we're going to essentially offer them to you. And so that's different, right? Before, you go to them and you say, I want this color, I want this color, I want this canvas. And so the wearer is defining the shoe. In the post-core sports, all of a sudden we've got this idea where the shoe is defining the wearer. I can go and I can get the signature model for Stacy Peralta, and I can go get that. And now I'm wearing Stacy Peralta's shoe. So it's like the shoe is defining the wearer. You see how that's different, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Not bad.
And at this point, they also understand what do you call it? They understand the market because they have studied the market, and that helped them to come out with the shoe define the wearer.
Well, clearly, whatever, when they made that change and they said, okay, these are our product lines, they did that well. So that's something we want to call out, Isaac. They did it well. They didn't come across as too corporate. They did it at the right time. All of those things are incredibly important. So do you want to take current situation, Isaac? These are the products.
Yes. The current situation, as we can see, there was a competition between the international and domestic and international. Van was still producing for men, women, kids, snow, apparel, and accessories. Some of the distribution angles we're looking at the Van outlet and stores, independent and specialty stores, mall and department stores were receiving Van's product. Some of the
and right there, you might want to consider bringing up the fact that Airwalk cratered, their authenticity cratered when they tried to enter into department stores, and for some reason Vans was able to do it and get away with it. So there's a little bit of magic there. There's something with the Vans brand that is resilient to that, and Airwalk did not do as well. So key kind of consideration there.
Okay. So Airwalk wanted to penetrate the market, but what do you call it? The foundation that has been laid by Van, he was still able to maintain his market strength and then a share at that point. When you look at the entertainment, that was also another key area Van was using to build a community-based relationship with his customers. And then Triple Crown series, the core sport, was one of the things that was designed to do skateboarding, which is a surfing, wakeboarding, snowboarding, and then BMX, motocross, and then supercross. Van recording, video game, there was other competitors, which is, what do you call it? Xbox, PlayStation, Dogtown, and Z-Boys. These are some of the entertainment that he tapped into to increase his base and then his market share. Athletic sponsorship, Van was one of the key companies to sponsor 600 athletic across the core sport, which built a strong base against his rivals, which gave him a good grounds.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, so competition in each of those.
Yeah, competition. When we are looking at competition, we are looking at a domestic competition and international competition. When we look at the main competition, we are looking at DC Shoes, Ethnis, Supra, Helen, and then Quicksilver. The women were competing with Ethnis, DVS, and DC. There was also a case competitive, which is the Fat Farm, Adidas.
Skechers should be in there as well.
Okay. We have a Snow Urge. Is it the Urge?
Which one? Uggs, yeah. Uggs is one of the main snow brands there.
Okay. So when we look at the competition, we had a, what do you call it, large company competition, which is the Nike and Adidas in the in-road. Nike and Adidas introduced an in-road competition to counter Van activities, which Van was able to sustain his rivals because of his community-based relationship he has developed over the years. The medium size, which was the Airwalk and then Circus. The smaller one was a smaller hardcore, which is a loyalty base that wanted to rival against, what do you call it, Vans, but Vans was able to sustain because of the relationship built over the years. And then typical example was when Nike wanted to pay an athlete a huge amount of money, which was turned down. The entertainment part was what do you call the Triple Series, which is also
the way this is formatted, Isaac. This is what we offer as Vans. This is a competitor.
Okay.
So it's dash competitor. So in this case, we offer amateur championship of skateboarding. There's also a street league skateboarding.
Right.
And these are the competitors in those other spaces. There's not really a competitor here. Okay. One of the things that we might want to call out in order to make this a little shorter, Isaac, is that what we were talking about here, a lot of those names are not familiar to me. And I've been here like for years. And so you might want to talk about that. The fact that, I don't recognize these brands, and some of us on the team that have been in America don't recognize these brands. So it highlights just how niche and how external and how, outsider the whole skateboarding thing was. That these things, a bathing ape, I don't know what the heck that is. I've never heard of that.
Right.
So might be something to bring up.
Okay, so I will throw more light on that.
Right.
And then the entertainment part, that is the Triple Crown was something that was organized by Van, but as against what do you call it, the World Cup snowboarding, which is a competitor event against Van. Van record, video game, movie, some of the activities that was basically Van was involved against his competitors, which is the Island, Trojan, Harvest.
Right. Those are production companies.
Yeah, production companies.
As opposed to bands.
Bands.
Right. So Warped Tour, it's other competitor would be Lollapalooza. The difference there being Lollapalooza was the big established bands. Warped Tour was the kind of fringe stuff.
Yes.
So
I'll make note on that and kind of highlight on that.
Okay. And you also want to call out here that Airwalk was a big supporter, or they tried to do a lot of athlete sponsorships, but they just had no credibility. Their brand had no credibility after they tried to enter into department stores and go big. So again, call out the difference. We could take this off here. Okay. So good? Makes sense to you?
Yes.
Okay.
And next slide.
SWOT analysis.
Yes, SWOT analysis. For Van to be able to move forward from this point, Van's supposed to use the SWOT analysis to evaluate his strength, weakness, threat, and opportunities. Let's look at strength. Maintain community engagement campaign to increase its market share. Expand core sport in response to existing customer base preference. Weakness. Research on women taste and trend. Execute focus group and build product resilient to fluctuating taste and function. Align with Van's product cycle to the women's taste cycle through listening. Van was somebody who was a good listener over the years, and he was able to build his true niche. And once he's able to focus on listening, he will be able to penetrate the women market.
Yeah, good.
The political landscape, the ongoing monitoring of microenvironment, things Van cannot control when it comes to political, regulatory aspect of it. So based on threat, Van's supposed to stay ahead of monitoring political environment, political landscape, changes from what you call policymakers to be able to stay in the game. Competition, tight relationship with community is a high barrier to entry. He was able to build a community base against its rivals, and that gave him a strong community base to be able to survive in the industry. Manufacturing accessibility and materials, diversify manufacturing to other regions, getting closer to manufacturing, manufacturing plant, which are closer to the distribution point, will also help Van reduce costs and then increase revenue in that direction. Opportunities, how well does Van plan capitalize on opportunities? Increase customer base through entertainment and sponsorship, which he's been doing over the years. Leverage manufacturing capabilities well. And once he's able to get a raw materials, build on his quality and standards, he should be able to rival against other competitors.
Okay, awesome. All right, just to time check, we're at 15 minutes already, and so we've provided no time to do questions. So clearly we're gonna have to cut this way down. And then we had talked about the idea that we'd actually start with a SWOT analysis. So again, we'll see what he wants, but it does highlight how fast we're gonna have to pound through these things to make sure we're only hit the important part.
That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to ask earlier. Are you submitting this to him prior to the presentation, or are you going to keep it and then did we discuss that?
I imagine we'll be submitting this and the case questions after. Well, actually, I think we have to turn them in at 9.
Yeah, we have to send it to him before.
We have to sign it. Before class starts, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
and attendance.
But I wonder if he's going to pull up the presentation for us.
No idea. No idea.
Yeah, so we are going to send it to him, and we have to be ready to use it once,
Yeah, we just got to be ready. Whatever the heck he wants to come at us, he might just say, "Okay, I just want to talk about the questions." That's fine. We're ready. So, Isaac, if you were to comment on this slide, what would you call out here?
Yes, over here we noticed that attendance members are particularly strong for the third phase, which is over the years, Van was able to increase attendance through since 1998 through 1999.
Yeah.
Started with 16% of skateboarding, surfing was 4% in total, which was 20%. Snowboarding and then wakeboarding was 15%. BMS, freestyle, and supercross was 60%. In total, that was 100%. So he had a growth over the years, which was very impressive.
Yeah, we want to call out that there's a lot of people showing up for that third wave.
Yes.
Like we had 20% for the first wave, only 15% for that second wave. But boy, and that last one, that's a big one. Yes. So clearly they're doing something right.
Yes.
Okay, so you got a bunch of ways you can go here, Rob. And on this slide, I would just call out that, we have two options. We're trying to make a decision between 1 and 2. 1, focus on the shoe category, or 2, focus on growing within the entertainment category. And then you can call out some of the stuff. Like the reason I have these two particular graphics down here, guys, is because look at the pie chart here. The blue is Vans, as is called out up here. Look how Vans is just starting to gobble the market. It's getting stronger every time. And then you've got Airwalk was red, and they're disappearing as we go through the years. Skechers is yellow. They're starting to fade here as well. So you got half the pie chart is taken up with these niche players by the end of it, but Vans is clearly dominating. So we've got to figure out, based on this is the current footprint of products, we've got to figure out how to go forward. So Rob, take it away.
If I were you, I'll focus on the left one. Kind of graphic, give you everything straight to the point.
Yeah, it does.
So you say that again?
I said, if I were you, I'll focus on the left one because they give you all the graphics, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
But
if you say anything, say that. And also, if on this one here, the important part is notice how important the men's segment is. Over 70% of international sales, over 50% of domestic sales. So it's incredibly important that we keep that segment strong.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So here we have growth options for Vans. Option 1 being that Vans Oh, sorry. Okay. Vans focus on the shoe category, fix the women's collection, and decide what to do about the outdoor collection. Or two, focus on growing within the entertainment category, despite the lack of expertise. If you look at the two charts on the left-hand side, if you look at the pie chart, Vans dominates their competitors, and that's over over a 4-year period. Vans continued to grow while some of their competitors started to shrink as the years went on in the market. And if we focus on the chart on the right, we notice that the men's line for Vans is about 70% of international sales, while the women's kids, their snow, it's a significantly lower with 5 to 10% share in the market. I don't know. Is that right?
Yeah, sure. That's what it's
Okay.
trying to show.
Okay.
If you look at the international market as a whole, it's all men's, and so there's a big opportunity to find some new customers there in the international market.
Yeah.
Any other category, I mean, shoot, nothing going on there. But the other category is where we're finding the movie and the Warp Tour and that kind of stuff. So
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I'll clean that up a little bit, but I'll just kind of briefly touch on the two different charts.
yeah, I would call out in this thing, I'd call out specifically that, like, the women's thing. We've got to figure out the women's thing, because in the domestic wholesale column, you've got women at 20 to 25%. And then when you look at the entertainment down here at entertainment other, it's 15 to 20%. And it's just not that large. I mean, the women's category is bigger than the entire entertainment category right now. So it's not the case that we can just kind of brush off the women's category. We've got to figure it out. That's going to be an important part of our growth strategy.
Yeah.
I was hoping we could just brush that off, but it doesn't look like we can.
Well, we also don't know how this is going to go either. We may not even have an opportunity to get this far.
Yeah, exactly. It depends on where we start and what he might just say, okay, well, take it away. If he says take it away, I might literally start with the SWOT analysis.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. We could do that.
All right.
He just sent an email a minute ago.
Yeah, somebody was asking about B2B in the simulation. What the hell?
Yeah, he said no B2B, right?
Yeah, okay, fine. But who the hell thought there would be B2B?
Yeah.
Okay, so the on this slide here, our recommendation, the thing on the right is a projection I did. This stuff comes from Exhibit 1 all the way through 2002E there, almost 400,000 or 400 million. And then if you look at it year over year, we've got 133%. So 33% year over year, 35%, 9%, 17%, 35%, 20%, and 19%. So I just conservatively said, okay, what if we did a 10% year over year from now, and we just started kind of tracking? We would be $1 billion company by 2012. So that's what this is supposed to show, that if we go conservative by 2012, we could be $1 billion company based on the last couple of years of a growth on the revenue side. So all that being said, this is our recommendation, is saying, okay, do we become $1 billion brand? Do we try for that? And I put here specifically that we suggest Vans should pursue being a $1 billion brand, as long as they can do that without being their goal. Because if we made that our goal, we would lose sight of the fact that our customers are incredibly important, and we can alienate them and go the way of Nike, Airwalk, and Vans in 1982. We don't want to relearn those lessons. So we're going to try to be careful there. We're going to try to grow, but we're not going to try to make that our goal. We're going to continue to strengthen relationships with younger alternative sports practitioners and use those relationships to maintain brand authenticity. Right? We know we need brand authenticity, incredibly important. We're going to yield the specialized and high-tech shoe market to smaller brands as a release valve to meet customer need to define themselves, right? So you've got this big Vans corporate brand. We want them to feel like they have the opportunity to say, well, I don't want to wear Vans. I want to wear the Ethnies over here. And that's kind of going to be my thing. Or I want to wear this other one, this ES over here. And I want that to be my brand. And that's fine, right? As long as you're showing up at our entertainment and you're showing up at a Warped Tour and just all those other things that are happening under our brand, you can be unique under the Vans brand. So that's what I mean by a release valve. Okay, incredibly important. And finally, be the marketing platform for alternative sports and its enthusiasts. We're going to continue to be their megaphone. Okay, so what do we do with struggling product lines? I'd like to punt this over to Isaac. Take it away. What are we going to do with those struggling product lines, Isaac?
What are we going to do with the struggling product line? That's a women's market. Find the young women's athletes.
Yeah.
Athletes, endorse and listen to them. As Van has been doing over the years, Van is a good listener. We need to listen to what they want and build a good relationship with them. Identify key people, key talent within the female class.
Sorry.
The female youth, to develop them, to develop their interest.
Find young female to endorse and listen to. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Let's say 2 to 3 months.
Okay. And develop a short period cycle, 2 to 3 months for female Van customers. Outdoor.
And if he were to ask you what the current product life cycle is, what is it, Isaac? Do you know? Do you remember?
That would be for the women. It's about 20 to 25 locally.
It's actually in the case study. It's 15 months for all the products. 15-month product life cycle. So we're going to try to take a year out of that for the women because they are women.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying.
Right. All right, so 15 months. So basically, we have to reduce it, right?
Right.
Develop a shorter product line cycle for the female Van.
Right. Because women tend to change their mind a lot about what they think is popular and what they think is fashionable. So we're going to try to match that. We're going to try to find these young female athletes, and we're going to say, what do women want? And we'll do what they like. If that young female athlete says, do this, we will generate that shoe and put it out there and see if it sells. Right. So we're going to start trying to get more stuff out there. And the outdoor one specifically here, this idea of finding an incumbent that's in the outdoor apparel and shoe market, find somebody that's good at that and just license the Vans brand to them and let them kind of solve that problem for us. And I got that particular solution, Isaac, from here. ITC down here, this 40 to 50% in the royalties. What that means, ITC is a Japanese company. Vans essentially told this Japanese retailer and apparel maker, they said, okay, Japanese company ITC, here's our Vans brand. You just go ahead and generate that stuff and you pay us royalties on everything. And they are killing it. 40 to 50% in that other category comes from that agreement. And so I'm thinking, well, that's a fantastic way to solve this problem with outdoor, because that's something that it's not necessarily near and dear to our hearts. We're more about the outdoor stuff is really about the snowboarding and the mountain stuff. And that's kind of fringe right now.
Can we put that company in the outdoor statement in bracket?
So which one?
Yes, that one. Then at the end, we put the outdoor company in bracket, like 40
ITC for the Japanese market. Like that?
Yes, ITC for the Japanese was able to, the sales was about 40% or 40 to 50%.
And so you could we could jump back up and say, we notice that this is incredibly important.
Yes. So maybe reference from Exhibit 3.
Sorry.
So reference from Exhibit 3. We noticed that finding an incumbent interested in licensing Van's brand, Van should be able to generate, what do you call it? Generate other revenue by partnering with a Japanese company that will produce be able to sell 40 to 50% in the other vertical market.
Okay, good point. So if you look up here at snow, domestic is less than 5%, international is 5 to 10%, it's less than 5% for retail. So if we compare that to what's, it's kind of hard to compare it because it's in a different vertical.
Yes,
but clearly this is dominating. ITC is dominating this entire vertical, and here it's almost the snow is, and that's where I assume the outdoor is, it's a non-player. So we're thinking that, yeah, there's got to be a way to move that needle.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Okay, fantastic. So that's where that's coming from. And so the market strategy and marketing strategy. So market strategy, you want to take this one, Brandon?
Yep.
Questions and answers, and highlighting down here, this is what we do not want to learn or relearn. So go.
Alrighty. So Van's marketing strategy, we felt it's a good strategy. Market strategy. Yeah, market. Sorry. Market strategy, or is it a new sports strategy? It's neither. Vans, it's a strategy that focuses on the alternative sports lifestyle and its enthusiasts and follows the interests of those people and finds ways to expand their opportunities. So Vans doesn't want to be corporate. They want to be an alternative sports lifestyle that it's not so much focused on being corporate.
Right. Good.
Yep. Vans is looking for new customers and letting those customers tell us what their interests are, not the other way around. We're going to expand core sports. Only in response to the larger alternative sports scene, alternative sports has matured as a market, and the days of Vans defining their scope and their interests are in the past.
Right. So there's a humility there, right? It's like we would be arrogant if we thought we could continue to tell people, yeah, this is a core sport and this isn't. I mean, we're on ESPN now. This is way out of our hands. So we're going back to the idea that we're going to continue to listen, and we're going to continue to make sure to be dialed into who those people are, so we don't lose them and we don't come across as inauthentic. Incredibly important that you drive that point home. It's about authenticity. That's why we are not going to expand core sports. We're going to let them tell us they have to be expanded. All right.
Right. Yep.
And, feel free to, wrestle, with the language a little bit there. This isn't something you don't need to be able to throw it down and say, nail it. This is something that we are still kind of wrestling with ourselves, trying to figure out how this is working. So if you're a little uncomfortable, that's cool. So finally, what do we want to learn or not learn?
So we want to use Airwalk as an example because of brand authenticity crisis as they expanded into department stores. So one thing that Vans could learn from Airwalk is that don't be so quick to be corporate or get into the big department stores. Remain and keep that mom and pop feel, so to speak.
Right. And this is a great point about fragility. And I'll actually put that here because of the fact that Vans is in department stores. So somehow or another, it counted against Airwalk, but it didn't count against Vans.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So you might want to say that, you know, brand authenticity is something that's fragile, and we understand that. We're going to try to protect that. So if all of us should be talking about the brand authenticity and how important it is.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that bands kind of built themselves up and built a fan base before.
Yeah.
Because I don't ever remember Airwalk kind of building themselves up and having a loyal customer base no matter where they went, whether it was a mom and pop style department storefront or a bigger department store. I don't ever remember them building themselves up that way. So I think that's why Vans was able to kind of withstand and you know, remain who they are, even though they were in some department stores.
Yeah. I got about 4 minutes here till I got to jump. 3 minutes. I got to jump to my next call. So we got to finish this thing off.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Nike never had the brand authenticity, and Vans actually has an example in their past where they forgot who they were and tried to be someone they weren't, and how bad it was. So that's the important part here. So on the marketing strategy here, we'll just kind of break these up. Brand considerations. I want Isaac. I think you should take that one.
Okay.
I think you should take this one as well with the value proposition. And Brandon and I will split these up here. B Rob, and I will take this one here. Okay, cool.
Yep, that'll work. I'll study these tonight, and good luck tomorrow.
Yeah, no kidding. I think we got a strong offering here, boys. We got a strong offering.
Yeah, we got a lot of information, so we should be good.
Hell yeah. All right, guys.
All right, see y'all tomorrow.
Tonight. Yeah.
All right.
I'll turn the stuff in on time. Don't worry about that.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.